The biggest helicopter ever built. Why didn't it fly? At the height of the Cold War, the Soviets built an astonishing aircraft. It was a helicopter that was larger than a Boeing 737. The helicopter could seat 196 passengers. It had an empty weight of 152,339 pounds. It was, and still is, the largest helicopter ever built. There was just one problem: it never really took off. The MiL V-12 was created for a military purpose. It was supposed to airlift intercontinental ballistic missiles into place. ICBMs were normally transported by rail, but this was too revealing. In theory, a helicopter could do it without alerting the West. The Soviets had a network of remote missile bases, but each one required a new railway line to be built. As a result, NATO always knew where a new base would be located. So in 1959, Soviet engineers proposed a revolutionary solution. A super heavy-lift helicopter would be able to fly nukes unnoticed. It took some years for prototypes to be approved and constructed. The first test flight took place almost a decade later, in 1968. Design limitations forced MiL to adopt a twin-rotor system. The transverse rotor system of the V-12 eliminated the need for a tail rotor. There were two transmission systems complete with rotors. The rotors were mounted at the tips of the 98 feet inverse tapered wings. The large fuselage had an upper and lower cockpit in the extreme nose. It took a crew of 6 just to fly the enormous machine. At the aft end of the fuselage were large clamshell doors. There was also a drop-down cargo ramp with inbuilt retractable support jacks. Other doors led to the cargo hold. The giant helicopter was fitted with 4 Soloviev D25VF turboshafts. Each produced 6,500 shaft horsepower. This powered the twin rotor blades, each 114 feet in diameter. The giant helicopter could reach a speed of up to 162 miles per hour. It was supposed to have a cruise speed of 150 miles per hour. Its ferry range was 620 miles, and its combat range 310 miles. The MiL would hold 88,000 pounds of goods under maximum loads. But there were only 2 prototypes built. Both outperformed their design specifications. Both set numerous records. For example, on August 6, 1969, MiL set a record that still stands. It rose to 7,398 feet carrying a payload of 88,000 pounds. In 1971, the first prototype V-12 made a series of flights over Europe. It appeared at the 29th Paris Air Show at Le Bourget. The designers were also awarded the Sikorsky Prize by the American Helicopter Society. But Soviet authorities scrapped the program, and the MiL V-12 never went into production. Again, the reason was purely military. It took so long to build and test the huge helicopter that it was no longer needed. In 1959, the US relied on photo reconnaissance done by U-2 spy planes. But by 1969, spy satellites had become more reliable. More importantly, ICBMs had grown much lighter. They could now be transported by trucks. The MiL V-12 was briefly considered for commercial usage, but those plans never materialized. All development on the V-12 was stopped in 1974. Today, both prototypes are on display in Russia. They still look awesome.